Hollywood was a place of dreams. It still is, I guess. But back in 1949, it was also a place of shadows. A lot of people came there wanting to be stars. Most of them didn't make it. And Jean Spangler was one of those people. She was an aspiring actress. She had a daughter, Christine. And then, one day, she just vanished. Her story is chilling. It's about a note, a purse, and a mystery that has never been solved. The note said, "Can't wait any longer." And those words have haunted everyone who's ever heard about her. Jean was 26 years old when she disappeared. She was trying to make it in the movies. She had a few small roles, nothing big. She was beautiful though, she had a presence. But Hollywood is full of beautiful people. It's tough to stand out. She had been married to a man named Dexter Benner. They had Christine together, but the marriage didn't work out. They got a divorce. It was messy like most divorces are, especially when there's a child involved. They were fighting over custody of Christine. Dexter was a bit of a character himself. He had some shady connections, people said, but that was Hollywood too, back then. Everyone seemed to know someone who knew someone. Jean lived with her sister-in-law, Sophie Spangler. Sophie was married to Jean's brother, who was away at the time. So it was Jean, Christine, and Sophie in the house. A pretty normal setup for a lot of people. The day she vanished was Friday, October 7th, 1949. It was getting late in the afternoon. Jean told Sophie she was going to meet her ex-husband, Dexter. She said she needed to discuss child support, and then she added something else. She said she was also going to meet a man named Kirk. She said it was for a movie shoot. A night shoot. That's what Sophie remembered. Jean left Christine with Sophie. She kissed her daughter goodbye. She walked out the door. She was wearing a green suit, a black purse, high heels. She was ready for something. Ready for a meeting. Ready for a movie shoot. Or maybe ready for something else entirely. No one knows for sure. And that was it. That was the last time anyone saw Jean Spangler alive. 2 days went by. 2 very long days for Sophie. Jean didn't come home. She didn't call. Sophie started to worry. A lot. This wasn't like Jean. Jean loved her daughter. She wouldn't just leave Christine without a word. Sophie called the police. She reported Jean missing. The police started their search. They checked all the usual places. Hospitals, morgues, friends' houses. Nothing. It was like Jean had just evaporated into the Los Angeles air. Then on Sunday, October 9th, something turned up. A woman was walking with her kids in Griffith Park. It's a huge park in Los Angeles. Lots of trails, lots of open space. She found a purse. It was a black purse. The woman picked it up. She looked inside. There wasn't much there. No money. No identification, but there was something else. A note. A handwritten note. The woman gave the purse and the note to the police. They looked at the note. And that's when the real mystery started. The note was written in a hurry. The handwriting was a little messy. It said, "Kirk, can't wait any longer. Going to see Dr. Scott. It will work out best this way while I am gone." JS, those words. They didn't make sense, and they made too much sense all at the same time. Well, can't wait any longer. What couldn't she wait for? Going to see Dr. Scott. Who was Dr. Scott? It will work out best this way while I am gone. Gone where? For how long? And JS Jean Spangler. It was her note. Or at least, the police thought it was. They later confirmed it was her handwriting. The discovery of the purse and the note in Griffith Park was a big deal. Griffith Park wasn't really on her way to anywhere she was supposed to be. It was out of the way. So why was her purse there, and why was the note there? Was it dropped, or was it left there on purpose? The police had a lot of questions, and no answers. The first thing they focused on was Kirk. Sophie had said Jean mentioned meeting a Kirk, so who was this Kirk? In Hollywood, there were a few famous Kirks. The biggest one was Kirk Douglas. He was a rising star at the time, a big name. The police thought, could it be him? They called Kirk Douglas. He was in Palm Springs at the time. He told them he had met Jean Spangler before. He said he had worked with her on a movie called Young Man with a Horn. It was a small role for her. He remembered her, but he said he had not seen her or spoken to her in several weeks. He had an alibi. He was cleared pretty quickly. He even put out a statement to the press. He said he hoped she was found safe. He probably just wanted the whole thing to go away. No one wants their name tied to a missing person case, especially not a rising star. So, if it wasn't Kirk Douglas, who was it? A lot of people knew someone named Kirk. Could it be a different Kirk? Or was Kirk a code name, a nickname? Then there was Dr. Scott. Who was he? The police started looking for any doctor named Scott in the Los Angeles area. They checked hospitals, private practices, nothing immediately obvious. It was 1949. Abortion was illegal. But illegal abortions happened all the time. Was Dr. Scott an abortionist? Was Jean pregnant? Was she going to have an abortion? Can't wait any longer could mean she was in a hurry to do something. And it will work out best this way while I am gone could mean she was going through a procedure that would keep her away for a while. It was a dark thought, but a possible one. The police also had to consider other possibilities. Was the note a suicide note? If she was going to end her life, why leave the note in a park? Why not leave it at home? And why the mention of Kirk and Dr. Scott? It didn't quite fit a typical suicide scenario. Was it a runaway? Did Jean just leave? But again, why leave her daughter? And why leave such a cryptic note? And why leave her purse without any money? It didn't really add up. The police started digging into Jean's life. They talked to her family, they talked to her friends, they talked to her ex-husband, Dexter Benner. Dexter had an alibi for the night. Jean disappeared. He said he was with his new wife. He denied meeting Jean that day. He said they were fighting over custody, but he didn't know where she was. He seemed genuine enough, but people always look at the ex-spouse first in these cases. It's just how it works. Her sister-in-law, Sophie, was distraught. She told the police everything she knew. She said Jean was having trouble getting child support from Dexter. That's why she said she was going to meet him. Sophie also mentioned that Jean had been seeing a new boyfriend. His name was Robert Cumming. But Robert was in Palm Springs that weekend. He had an alibi too. He was also interviewed. He didn't offer any real clues. But there was another angle the police started to look at. A much darker one. Jean Spangler knew a lot of people in Hollywood, not just aspiring actors. Some of her friends were connected to the mob, to the underworld of Los Angeles. People like Mickey Cohen, a famous gangster at the time. It turns out Jean had been seen with some unsavory characters. She had been to parties where these people were present. She might have been more involved than just an aspiring actress. Sometimes, people in Hollywood get mixed up in things they shouldn't. Around the same time, Jean disappeared, another person also went missing. A man named Frank Allen. Frank Allen was an associate of Mickey Cohen. He was also a friend of Jean's, and he disappeared without a trace, just like Jean. Was it a coincidence, or was there a connection? The police wondered if Jean had seen something she shouldn't have seen, or heard something she shouldn't have heard. In the mob world, sometimes people get taken care of if they know too much. This theory started to gain traction. They looked into the Dr. Scott angle again. What if Dr. Scott wasn't a doctor at all? What if it was a code name for someone else? Or a place? What if Jean was in trouble with these mob figures? Maybe she owed them money. Or maybe she was being threatened. Some reports suggested Jean was pregnant and seeking an illegal abortion. And perhaps Dr. Scott was the one performing it. If something went wrong and she died, the person performing the abortion would want to hide the body. This was a common fear at the time, and the note, "It will work out best this way while I am gone," could refer to the time she'd be recovering, or, tragically, if she didn't survive. But her body was never found, so it remained a theory. Another theory was that Dr. Scott was a code for a location, or for someone who handled problems. The police interviewed Mickey Cohen and his associates. Of course they denied everything. They said they didn't know anything about Jean Spangler's disappearance. But that's what mobsters do. They deny. The search for Jean continued for weeks, months. The police scoured Griffith Park again and again. They used dogs, they used search parties. Nothing. Not a single piece of clothing. No bones. No sign of her. The park kept its secrets. The missing purse itself was a strange clue. It had no money in it, no ID. Why? If it was a robbery, they would have taken the purse. If she dropped it, why was it so empty? It felt like it was placed there. Placed there to be found. Placed there to send a message. But what message? The note's handwriting was Jean's. That was confirmed, so she definitely wrote it. But when and why? Let's think about the words again. Can't wait any longer. This implies urgency. She needed to do something quickly. What could be so urgent? An abortion. Escaping a dangerous situation? Meeting someone important? Going to see Dr. Scott? This is the most specific part. It points to a person, or perhaps a service. If it was an illegal abortion, that would certainly be a secret, and something she couldn't wait any longer for. It will work out best this way while I am gone. This is the most unsettling part. Gone. Doesn't mean gone from Los Angeles, gone for a few days, or gone forever. And it will work out best this way sounds like a justification, like she was doing something difficult but necessary, or something she was forced to do. The police explored every possible lead. They found out about a lawyer Jean had been seeing, a man named David O'Goole. He was involved in her divorce proceedings, and he was also known to have some ties to the underworld. Could he have been involved, or could he have given her bad advice? He was questioned, but nothing came of it. There was also a claim from a woman who said she saw Jean with two men on the day she disappeared. She said they looked like they were arguing, but the sighting was never fully confirmed. And eyewitness accounts can be tricky. The more the police investigated, the more complicated it seemed. Was it a simple case of a woman running away, or was it something much darker? The mob connection seemed to grow stronger as time went on. Some people suggested that Jean was involved in smuggling something, or that she was a witness to a crime, that she was silenced. If she was killed by the mob, her body would never be found. That was their way. They made people disappear completely. No trace, no body, no closure. Think about the context of the time, post-war Hollywood. A lot of people coming in, a lot of money, a lot of ambition, but also a lot of vice, gambling, prostitution, drugs. And organized crime was right in the middle of it all. They had their hooks in everything. From the clubs to the studios, it wasn't hard for an aspiring actress to get caught up in that world, especially if she needed money, especially if she was desperate for a break. Jean had a young daughter. She was fighting for custody. That meant she needed money. She needed stability. Maybe she took a risk. Maybe she made a bad choice. We'll never know. The case went cold pretty quickly. The initial flurry of news reports died down. The police had no new leads. The leads they had were dead ends. Kirk Douglas was cleared. Dexter Benner was cleared. Robert Cumming was cleared. The mob figures denied everything. While Dr. Scott, if he even existed, was never found. Jean's mother and sister-in-law held onto hope for a long time. They wanted to know what happened to her. They wanted closure. But it never came. Christine, Jean's daughter, grew up without her mother. Imagine that. Your mother just vanishes one day. And you never see her again. You never know what happened. That kind of uncertainty can really stay with a person. They can't wait any longer. Nope, became a symbol. A symbol of the mystery. A symbol of Hollywood's dark side. A symbol of unanswered questions. What if Jean was genuinely trying to leave a clue? If she was in danger, maybe the note was a desperate attempt to point someone in the right direction. Kirk and Dr. Scott were meant to tell someone something. But who? And what? What if she wrote the note under duress? Someone forced her to write it, to make it look like she was going to an abortion. Or going away. To throw the police off? That's a possibility too. The words are a little vague. And that vagueness serves a purpose, whether intentional or not. The fact that her purse was found without money but with the note is key. If she was going to meet someone for a movie shoot, she'd likely have money. If she was running away, she'd definitely have money. The empty purse suggests it wasn't a simple robbery. It was staged. Or it was discarded after something happened, and the location, Griffith Park. It's a vast place. Easy to hide things. Easy to disappear there. It's still a place where people can go and feel isolated, even though it's in the middle of a big city. So many theories, so little proof. One theory suggests Jean might have become pregnant by a high-ranking mobster. And that the Dr. Scott reference was indeed for an illegal abortion, which was then covered up because of the powerful father. If something went wrong, or if they simply wanted to erase all traces, the woman and the evidence would disappear. This links back to the "it will work out best this way" line. Best for whom? The mobster, perhaps, to avoid scandal. Another possibility is that Jean was caught up in a blackmail scheme. Maybe she was helping someone or being used, and then something went wrong. She knew too much. The note might have been her last attempt to communicate, or a way to confuse anyone looking for her. Some people even thought Jean herself had some secrets, that she was living a double life, that the aspiring actress was just a front for something else. But there's no real evidence for that. It's just speculation that comes from the complete lack of answers. The truth is, no one has ever been charged. No body has ever been found. Jean Spangler just disappeared. The files on her case are still open, technically, but no one expects any new information to come to light. Not after all this time. Her story is a reminder of how quickly life can change. How dreams can turn into nightmares. How even in the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, there are dark corners. Dangerous corners. The note, can't wait any longer. Going to see Dr. Scott. It will work out best this way while I am gone. JS. Those words still echo. They still demand an explanation. But they will likely never get one. Jean Spangler remains a ghost in Hollywood's history. A young woman with a future gone in an instant. Leaving behind only questions, and a cryptic message that has baffled people for decades. And that's where the story ends, for now. With a permanent question mark hanging over it all,